I had 2 sisters and 3 brothers. My mom drank and partied a lot. My first that I recall or being told of being in foster care was when I was around 2 years old. My mom was accused of abusing me. With my mom being negligent and not coherent in parenting, I kind of felt like while I was in the house, I was the caregiver. So, and especially when she was like crazy drunk. In my teenage years, I did a lot of foster homes and group homes and young offender. With starting to go into the correctional system, it made my life a lot harder. It was pure survival. I recognized that that was something that I had to do, and a lot of people, that's their lifestyle, that's how they survive. And it is wrong, but you know, people aren't given choices.
Before I found the YWCA and before I was in my support group, I was rebuilding my life because when my ex moved out, he took everything, left me to sleep on a mattress on the floor at 4 months pregnant. He was emotionally abusive and controlling. When you're in those situations and you love the person so much, it's really easy to think that you're the problem and that I was the one that needed to work harder to please him. And that's kind of what the relationship was constantly about. And I didn't even know that I was in an emotionally abusive relationship until I got out of it.
Me and Dallas, Aaliyah's dad, we had split up when I went to jail and took the charge for him. And so I had spent my whole pregnancy in Pine Grove Correctional Center. When I got out, I had met my youngest's dad, and he was like so beautiful, so nice. He would come home, like take care of us. He was just full of life, and he loved his kids. He was just perfect. It started happening when I was 4 months pregnant, and then he started hearing stuff in the walls and talking like just weird stuff. After that, it was like every time he would get drunk, he would start hurting me. I believe that he had paranoid schizophrenia. I think it scared him for someone to tell him that there was something really medically wrong. From what I gathered from the newspapers and the police and everything, he had some friends come pick him up, and I guess there was an altercation. There was an altercation in the car, and
Before I was in my relationship with my ex, I was the person who had it all together. My ex and I got engaged in February of 2017, and 3 days later, we conceived. And his mom had a really, really bad reaction to it, and she started harassing me on text messaging and on social media and threatening me, and said that I only got pregnant to secure him. One of my biggest dreams in life was to become a writer. He totally demolished my career. I finally got picked up by some publishers. He and his family made like fake Facebook accounts and slandered me online. So it's like he's watching me online. It's like he won't leave me alone. And this is when I was pregnant, and I actually haven't been able to write since. The lowest point of my pregnancy was when I woke up and was bleeding. I had actually just cut ties with my ex. He told me that I could have an abortion or raise the baby alone. I was just in the hospital by myself. And I was just like replaying like all this stuff that like happened, and like, holy crap, like a few months ago, like I was engaged planning my wedding. And now I'm like alone in the hospital thinking my baby might die. It's just so numbing and surreal. In August of this year will be my 11th appearance in family court. He has only spent 2 hours total in her whole life with her. And he denied paternity in the beginning, and like he wanted to have 50-50 custody of her within 6 months, and he hadn't even met her.
I had contacted a child care place because I needed to do some things and I needed the kids in safe child care. So I jumped on a bus the next morning from the women's shelter and we went down to the YWCA, and Pam was sitting there. And I was like, hey, well, I would like to know about your child care. I think it was within the first 2 weeks, Pam was like, have you ever thought about volunteering? So through the volunteering, I actually started joining groups too. But through all of that, I kind of like created a family at Crabtree. It's like my first Vancouver family. One thing that Pam told me too is that if I started school, the YWCA would recognize that and they would support me with childcare so I could go back to school and finish my education. And that was like my saving grace right there. So I had donated those masks and I started with another clothing company. I realized when I was working with that clothing company that I have a design, and I have millions of designs in my head, that I think that I could come forth with myself and run my own line and not work for anyone but me and my babies.
One of the biggest ways that things changed for me when I got accepted into the YWCA Baby Me group was I had found my people. I had women who were going through what I was going through. I had women who understood what I was going through. I had ideas and tips and life advice that I didn't even know, programs that I didn't even know existed. Veda she's the love of my life. The Y has impacted Veda's life tremendously because she has her own bedroom because of the YWCA. She has new friends because of the YWCA, not only from our group, but now neighbors that we've met in the building. And a lot of them are little girls like her too. So it's really nice. So she's kind of got her starting out in life community of her own. My plans for the future though are just to continue raising Veda, and I just want to put her in soccer and I want to coach her in soccer because I played soccer my whole life.
There's so many great things that this company does. Honestly, I think they save lives. I mean, what would I do if I didn't have them? I would still be struggling. And now I am an entrepreneur.